What is going on, NFL fans? Welcome back to another episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Today, we're talking about the Denver Broncos. We're going to go over what they did in free agency, take a look at the roster, and boom, we're going to do a 7-round mock draft for your Denver Broncos. Let's get into it. All right, Denver Broncos fans, do me a huge solid. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 15K. Help me get there, guys. Take a look at your screen. We're going to go over free agency. Solid move bringing in Evan Ingram. I love. They needed a tight end. Evan Ingram's been great the last couple years in Jacksonville. Very, very impressive. 2 years, $23 million. Good deal. I like it. I think he's a very, very talented guy. They brought in linebacker Justin Strenard. 1 year, $2.7 million deal. Wide receiver Trent Sherfield, 2 years, $8 million. Yeah, not the greatest move in the world, but they need some depth at wide receiver for sure. Dre Greenlaw. Before he got hurt, he was one of the most dominant linebackers in the NFL. I'm expecting him to slowly get back to form. 3 years, $35 million. I think this is a pretty solid deal for them. And they also brought in Talanoa Hufanga, the safety from the 49ers, dealt with some injuries over the last few years, but when he's healthy, he's a primetime premium safety. I love that move. Hufanga, solid move. They also brought in tackle Matt Pert, 2 years, $7 million. D lineman DJ Jones, 3 years, $39 million. Pretty solid grade as well. All right, guys, now let's just take a look at this overall roster. We're going to start with the defense, right? Hufanga will be taken over at safety. This is their base formation in that 3-4 defense. Dre Greenlaw, a huge addition to that linebacking core. We probably could use a cornerback opposite Pat Surtain, who's the absolute man. Surtain, the man. Guys, I would like maybe adding a right end or a more dominant nose tackle. You know, you could always go edge help as well, but the edge, pretty solid. Pretty solid. All right, now, let's take a look at the offense, guys. They definitely need another big-time wide receiver, for sure. Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims, okay. You know, Mims definitely stepped up last year. He's still a young guy, only 23, man. So he has, you know, some growing to do in this offense, right? This Broncos roster is looking pretty damn good, but I really want to see them upgrade the running back position. Maybe even in the first round. Omarion Hampton on the Broncos. Woo! All right, let's get into that 7-round mock draft for the Denver Broncos. All right, Denver Broncos fans, here we are with this draft for 2025. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, no 5, and 3 6s. That's the way the draft kind of plays out for them right now. Let's go to the board. Woo, baby. Luther Burden III on the board. Very interesting, man. Luther Burden can be lined up all over the formation, in the slot, outside. He ran really well at the combine. His numbers were down a little bit, but the quarterback play at Missouri, not the best, in my opinion. He came in at 6 foot, over 200 pounds at the combine. He's still only 21 as well. Very, very interesting play there. And then Omarion Hampton, guys, he's on the board. I'm not sure they go tight end now because they brought in Evan Ingram. So I don't think that's a position of need for them right now. For me, in this first round, it's between Omarion Hampton and Luther Burden III. But man, adding Luther Burden III to this offense would make it very, very, very dynamic. But I think they're going to be picking again at 51. If we take a look at the running back class, who will be there at 51? Omarion Hampton will not be there, but Scatterboo, Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Trayvon Henderson might be there, right? So, trading up in the second round is definitely a possibility, especially with those extra 5th round picks. So if 3 of these guys go off the board, say Hampton, Scatterboo, Judkins go off the board early, maybe we come up. I'm going to slow down this draft process right now. I'm drafting Luther Burden. I'm doing it. I think he's the best player on the board. I'm drafting Luther Burden. I want to see where these running backs go. See if we have an opportunity to potentially move up. No running backs yet, guys. Walker, Nolan, Banks, Zabel, Harmon, Loveland, Omarion Hampton. So Omarion Hampton went to the Chiefs at 31. So we still have a bunch of really good players on the board including Cam Scadaboo, who I think would be a really interesting play for the Broncos, guys, because Scadaboo is not only a dynamic runner of the football, but he's really good at catching the ball out of the backfield, right? So let's see where these guys go. And the two kids from Ohio State, definitely on my mind as well. All right, so we got a little bit of ways to go. We're at 51. They're on the board. The Bears are. They might take a running back here. Nope, they didn't. No running backs. No. All right, no running backs, guys. So we're in a good spot right now, guys. I don't think we need to move up. The two guys from Ohio State and Scadaboo are still on the board. So let's hope that none of them go in the next few picks. And we'll get our pick of the litter. And it worked out perfect for us, guys. We were very patient. And sometimes patience pays off in the NFL draft. So now we have our choice between Scadaboo, Judkins, Trevion Henderson. They're the guys that I'm looking at right now. I really, really like Judkins, man. He's very, very talented. He caught some balls out of the backfield. 22 receptions, not bad. Henderson, 26 receptions out of the backfield. 5'10", 208 for Henderson. Judkins is coming in. 6 foot, 219. Definitely a bigger back, man. He's a really, really talented guy, man. Judkins' tape screams at it, man. And Scadaboo. He's definitely, some guys really love him, like me, and then some guys are not super, super fond on him. He obviously played not as good competition, but when he played good competition, Arizona, Texas, he balled out, man. Very, very impressive. But for me, it's probably between Judkins and Scadaboo. They need a running back. We've got a dynamic receiver in round 1. Judkins he's just so good. And then he's pretty scheme versatile. Gap grade, zone grade coming in pretty much virtually identical. Yards after contact coming right around 3. Scadaboo yards after contact coming in at 4. Henderson's coming in at 4.43. So Henderson can definitely break more tackles. So, man, I'm very conflicted about who to take here. 10 touchdowns, 7 yards per attempt. It's really, really tough. Trevion Henderson's tape is very, very good too. His yards per attempt are 5.5. So Henderson, behind the same offensive line, was just a better all-around running back, right? Gap grade, zone grade, pretty damn good. But this yards after first contact is really, really impressive to me, man. He's got great long speed. He's got the agility. He's so impressive, man. He really, really is. So you know what, guys? Man, I'm so conflicted. What do you guys want to do? Broncos fans, let me know in the comments below. What Ohio State running back would you take? That elusive rating at 69, and then you look at Henderson's 108. I think Trevion Henderson has the better upside. So I'm going Trevion Henderson, the running back from Ohio State for the Denver Broncos, guys. Now, we're picking again at 85 overall. So now, this is a time, adding some offensive line could be very interesting. A guy like Wyatt Millam is still on the board. I think he's a pretty talented guy, especially falling to us this late in the draft. Jonah 7A, the tackle from Arizona, pretty good. I just don't like the run block grade in the 60s. Wyatt Millam he's probably going to be more of a guard at the NFL level. Great pass blocker, solid run blocker, zone grade, gap grade, both pretty damn good, right? So for me, I'm drafting Wyatt Millam to play guard for us. And then if he could play tackle, great. But 6'6", 317, he's got great size. Almost 1,200 snaps at left tackle. He's just got a strong punch. He's really, really talented guy. Super flexible. I like Wyatt Millam in the 3rd round. 85 overall. So far, guys, if we take a look at our draft picks, Luther Burden in round 1, the wide receiver, a dynamic receiver that fell to us at 20. And Trevion Henderson, the running back, in round 2, 51 overall. We got a really good road grader guard, Wyatt Millam. Now, we're drafting in the 4th round. Cornerback definitely interests me a little bit here. And then obviously D-line and edge, you could always use those positions for sure. Mello Dotson from Kansas is on the board. He was really good in the beginning of the year and kind of fell off. He's kind of been up and down. Guy's an up and down type of cornerback. He does got the skills. 6'1", 190. Solid guy. I do like Noah Williams too from Cal. He had a great year. Really good year. Strong press man corner. I think press man works pretty well in those 3-4 schemes. I really like this type of cornerback. He's pretty solid, man. Super solid. Man heavy coverage scheme. He could do a little bit of everything, man. He could do the man-to-man. And he can also, the zone grade is even better. Pretty solid. We're drafting here at 122 overall, guys. So the talent's not going to be, blow your socks off. Linebacker, Jack Kaiser to pair up with Dre Greenlaw because you don't know what you're going to get with Dre Greenlaw. So bringing in another linebacker, that makes some sense to me as well. As I'm just taking a look at the board here, maybe drafting a young tight end behind Evan Ingram could be interesting as well. Maybe we do that a little later in the draft. None of these guys I think are worth this 4th round pick for me. I think Noah Williams is the guy because I like press man, solid. He's just a solid guy. 6'1", 200 pounds. The trends, Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, Mello Dotson. Let's check out his trends. No one's really... these guys are getting mocked towards the Denver Broncos, but I don't know. I don't even know if that matters. These trends are just fun to look at, just as to see what other people are thinking. But yeah, I do like Noah Williams. I think he can play. I think he's pretty scheme versatile, actually. And a guy, you could always teach a guy where to be in zone, but you can't teach that athleticism to be a man-to-man corner. So Noah Williams goes to the Broncos at 122 overall. And now that we're up in the 6th round, we got 3 6th-round picks. I want to go defensive line, whether it's edge or interior defensive lineman. I think that's probably the best places to go here. And Wyatt Millam can play center. He can play a little bit all over the place, so that's interesting as well. Tim Smith is on the board. Jonah Monaheim, the center. We definitely need to look at the center spot. He's the best center left on the board. We're at 191, 197. Tim Smith from Alabama, I really like. Pretty solid run defender. He's a big boy, 6'4", 314, be in the middle of that defense. Tufana from Utah had a really good year. He kind of struggled his first 2 years, so I don't know how much I love that. Jake Majors from Texas is on the board. Really good pass blocker. I think he is definitely in play for us at some point. So is Jay Higgins, the linebacker from Iowa. I think just bringing in another linebacker in this room because Dre Greenlaw has dealt with injuries in his career, and Alex Singleton's not the greatest linebacker in the world. So I think Higgins is definitely on my radar. But the best D lineman, Alabama guy, Tim Smith, goes at 191. So now, I really like myself some Jay Higgins. One of the better off-ball linebackers in this class. Excellent coverage guy. Can stop the run. Missed tackle rate under 10%. I love this pick. And then the next pick, I'm going to see if I could grab us a center maybe in the 6th round. Jake Majors is on the board still, so I'm going to go that route, guys. I'm going to bring in a center for the Denver Broncos. Jake Majors it is, guys. Here we go. All right, Denver Broncos fans, that wraps up our mock draft post-free agency. I think the Broncos did a really good job bringing in guys like Evan Ingram, Dre Greenlaw, and Hufanga. I think they're great veteran players that are going to make this team a lot better. We went Luther Burden in round 1. We got an A grade. They didn't love the Henderson pick. I don't know why. Henderson's an absolute dog. Check out the tape. Wyatt Millam, tackle/guard. Noah Williams, I think, is a great pick in the 4th round. A big, long, physical corner. I like that. Tim Smith in the 6th round. We got an A grade. Solid player in the D-line. Can kind of play nose or anywhere on that D-line, in my opinion. And Jay Higgins. I wanted to give some depth to this linebacker room. Dre Greenlaw is great, but injuries have been a concern. And who's he going to be? They did sign him to a 3-year deal, which probably was a little longer than I would expect for a guy like Dre Greenlaw, but sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, right? And then Jake Majors, the center in round 6, a great compliment to a pretty strong offensive line already, guys. All right, let me know in the comments if you like this draft. If not, I would like to know why in the comments below. And what players would you have drafted, like in the 2nd round? It's a little bit risky taking one of these running backs, but I didn't want to take one in the 1st round. I'd rather have Burden and Trevion Henderson than draft a guy like Omarion Hampton and then have a lackluster wide receiver at 51. There's not a ton of great ones in this class. I think Burden's one of those great ones, so that's why I went Burden, Henderson, and then Millam. I really love our first 3 picks. I would love to know in the comments below your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.